Now, you want to drain these then on a paper towel, and I've got time maybe to take out one that's rather well done here. And here's another one that would pass. And then over the top, sprinkle the confectioner's sugar while it's warm. Please notice this confectioner's sugar pot. Isn't this pretty, this shaker? The reason I'm using it is because my husband said, you'll never use that. So please, Dick, notice that I am using my shaker. Husbands always say that about things, so I change dishes and use them all the time, let me tell you. Now I'm going to turn this off so I don't burn up the studio. How about that? Now, this is what they look like when they're all done. I think it's a real pity that these still are not sold on the street corners of New Orleans. I would have certainly eaten my share if I could have found them. They're most unusual and very, very nice, as you can tell. And always sprinkle them with confectioner's sugar and serve hot. Now we have a bit of a surprise, a mystery if you like. I want to show you something. Do you know what's in this box? Pralines. And you pronounce it praline, not praline. When we found ourselves traveling through Louisiana, we felt it was rather our responsibility to find the best pralines in the state. It was a very difficult assignment, but someone had to do it. Let's take a look at what we found. Our first stop for samplings was the New Orleans School of Cooking, where they were teaching a cooking class on Southern food.
Well, this is home cooking. We were talking about earlier, we sit because it's a way to visit. And one of the greatest things about cooking is that when we have company over, we always tend to open that cookbook to a page that has never seen the light of day. And we always want to do, I'll do this. We all have 4 dishes that we know we cook wonderfully. So when we have company come over, make one of those dishes.
Our sleuthing indicated that every shop had its own interpretation of this New Orleans confection. However, they all agree on one thing. The pronunciation of the candy is praline, not praline. Most natives scorn the fancy flavored ones, such as chocolate or peanut butter, but they all tasted pretty good to us, and we tried them all. We never ate a praline we didn't like. Don't these look absolutely fantastic? Believe me, they were.
St. Clair's Monastery is about 6 miles from the French Quarter, and believe me, it's really worth the trip. Actually, the monastery has been here in this neighborhood for over 100 years. The pralines are a relatively new thing, and I might add, a perfectly splendid addition. Oh, good. Sister Mary does have pralines today. As a courtesy to the sisters, we have this bell. This also announces that we're here. Hello, do we have any pralines?
Yes, we do.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'll take a box.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. God bless you.
Sister Mary is going to show us how she makes her very famous pralines. So famous, in fact, that the New York Times gave them their best vote. Sister Mary, what do we have in the pot so far?
Right now we have a pound of light brown sugar, and I'm very fussy about the type of brown sugar. Some are strong and you have to just test to see which one is the best. 2½ cups of granulated sugar.
Right here.
And then 2½ cups of whole milk. Some people use evaporated milk, but it makes the praline just a little strong.
Now the next step is?
Take it to the stove. And I will stir this until the sugar is melted.
Now how long is this going to cook after the sugar has dissolved?
This is going to cook for about 10 minutes. All right.
It's done now.
It's finished.
For this 10-minute cooking period. Now what do we do?
Now we put in a little bit of margarine.
Margarine instead of butter.
Margarine. And 3 cups of pecans. And 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla.
Not the fake stuff.
I think this is the reason mine are such favorites, because it's not imitation. It's real.
It makes a difference with vanilla.
Now we're just going to let that set for 10 minutes.
Without stirring?
Without stirring.
Ooh, that means our 10-minute waiting period is up and you're ready to stir in the pecans. Now, what will the signal be to you to start dipping out?
The signal is when it starts to look its piece. And that is, you'll see the gloss turn to a matte glaze look.
You said you'd been a ceramist, and that's where you get that terminology.
That's the reason.
All right.
Okay.
From gloss to sheen or gloss to shine.
Right. And I can feel it already.
And by feeling it, it's getting thicker, right?
Right.
Okay, we're ready to go.
If you don't move, it won't wait for you.
Sister Mary, thank you so much for showing us how you make pralines. I so appreciate it.
Oh, I'm glad you came. Come back anytime.
Well, thank you so much. Not only are we going to enjoy these pralines as candy, I'm also going to show you how to make praline ice cream.
Boy, that sounds good.
It is, it is. Sister Mary was a very special lady, and her pralines really are good. I can understand why she has such a terrific mail order business. Now, this might seem criminal to you, but I'm actually going to put crushed pralines in ice cream. Now, it's not really a criminal act under the circumstances, do you think? It's more of a divine act. This recipe is called praline ice cream, and here are the ingredients. 3 cups of whole milk. Don't use skim milk here, the texture will be wrong. 4 egg yolks, 3/4 cup granulated sugar, dash of salt, a tablespoon of vanilla, 1½ cups whipping cream, and 1½ cups pralines broken into coarse pieces, about 1/4 to 1/2 inch pieces. Now the first thing we want to do is scald the milk about 10 minutes over boiling water. By using a double boiler like this, you know you're not going to scorch the milk. You don't have to watch it as closely. You know the milk is scalded when you see the little bubbles forming around the outside edge of the double boiler. Then, in the mixing bowl, beat up your 4 egg yolks quite thoroughly. And then, to prevent scrambled eggs, when you add the egg yolks to the milk, we're going to dilute them a bit first with just about 1/2 cup of hot milk. And at the same time you're doing that, this will save you a real mess, trust me. Now, gradually add this to the hot milk in the double boiler, and do not, at this point, use the beater, because you don't want this to be too frothy a mixture. I still have quite a bit of egg yolk in there, as you can see, and I want to get that all out because that is what makes this such a lovely thick pudding. For those of you who are concerned about salmonella and not using raw eggs in ice cream anymore, making this custard or pudding ahead of time will certainly, what should I say, set all your fears at ease. I'm going to get rid of these things. Then, to this, I would like you to add your sugar and a speck of salt. A speck of salt it takes away the flatness of the sugars and the milk. And then let this cook for about 20 minutes over simmering water. And that would be about medium, I would say. And don't rush this step. Again, you don't have to worry about it scorching because it is over hot water. A double boiler is a very convenient thing to have in your kitchen, even if you have a small kitchen. You'll use it a lot. A way to test whether or not the custard is at the proper temperature and has cooked enough, meaning the eggs have cooked enough, is that the custard or the pudding should coat the back of a spoon. See, this does not coat the back of a spoon yet. It's really quite obvious. I'll show you over here with the finished pudding. However, the minute this does coat the spoon, and that's about 20 minutes, take it off the heat, put plastic wrap directly on top of this. Don't put it on the pan, but put it directly on top of the custard or the pudding, and that prevents a skin from forming. Then chill this thoroughly, and by thoroughly, it's really better if you do it overnight because that gives you more volume in the finished product of the ice cream. Now here we have the finished product. How lovely that is. Now let me show you this coating of the spoon business. See? That's really coating. Then another way to test is to run your finger down the back of the spoon like this, and it should make a trail or a road, if you like. The yellow spoon road, and that means then it's absolutely going to work for you perfectly. The next step here is to whip the cream until it's not quite stiff to hold its shape. In other words, you don't want peaks at this form, but you do want it to be puffy. And then to this, we're going to add a tablespoon, get that, a tablespoon of vanilla, that's right, and whip that in with it. A lot of people prefer this kind of ice cream, as you might guess, since it does have this custard. It's really much smoother. It doesn't get crisply at all. There we are. Now, get this up here. Oh, wonderful, wonderful.